What's going on, guys? Unofficial MCU here. Hope you're all doing well. And in today's video, of course, we're talking about the Loki finale season 1. As we now presumably know, it is more than one season here. Of course, that's a little bit of a spoiler, but there are spoilers for the Loki series if you did click on this video, so do be aware of that, of course. But let's just jump right on into it. Guys, this was an absolutely amazing finale to this show. There's a lot of questions that are still left there, and of course, we are getting a season 2 now confirmed for Loki, so that is very exciting. That is said to be coming out in 2022, so it's very far away in how it will kind of connect in those contexts and in those ways. And we have many movies that are going to be presumably taking place kind of, I guess, after the event of Loki season 1, being Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness, Spider-Man No Way Home, Ant-Man 3, Quantumania. Guys, there's just so much to talk about what happened and what really went down here in this whole episode, the season finale of episode 6 here, guys. Of course, we did actually get the appearance of Kang the Conqueror rather, I should say, and that was a huge thing that was very up in the air. People didn't know if he was actually going to make an appearance here or not, and he is actually confirmed to appear and be the main villain, rather, of Ant-Man 3, Quantumania, and that leads to even more questions, theories, and suspicions. Of course, we're going to cover more here on the channel, so do be sure you are subscribed to the channel and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of those as we go more in depth into those things. But this video here is really about the Loki 6 finale. First off, I just want to say, let's just jump kind of rather to what happened here at the end of episode 6. I have to say, I love and I hate Sylvie. I mean, at first I was like, I don't really like her, and she kind of grew on me, much like we saw in John Walker and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. He kind of grew on me, and then at that point in Falcon and Winter Soldier, rather, he just did something that nobody liked, and then nobody liked him after that. Same thing for kind of Sylvie. It's a love-hate relationship I feel like I have for her. When she was first introduced, I just didn't really like her, and then as episodes went on, of course, more and more she grew on me, and I really liked her character all in all. And then at this end of the, I guess, episode 6, yes, I love her for giving us the Multiverse of Madness, and I guess giving us what we're going to probably see here in Spider-Man No Way Home and future MCU projects with the Multiverse of War, of course. So that's very exciting, but just the whole part where she kind of is the bad guy, really, all in all, she's kind of the bad guy, killing Kang the Conqueror and creating this Multiversal War, and for what? She doesn't even understand it. Why is she doing this? And she just wants to kill anything that's in her way, and she found presumably what's at the top of the TVA, who's behind the TVA. Of course, we had theory videos, of course, here on the channel of who we thought was behind the TVA, being Kang the Conqueror, as we saw from Ravonna the Renslayer, but there just doesn't seem to be any correlating relationship between those two characters, of course, unless it is in an alternate timeline or universe, or even sacred timeline is a whole nother thing there. I saw being theorized there is like a backup, I guess, almost of a sacred timeline as what Kang the Conqueror had created, maybe in some essence, in some ways. That there is something that we also saw there at the end of episode 6, as Sylvie, of course, killing Kang the Conqueror, or at least one of his versions or variants of himself, and that there it leads off into a different TVA. After we see Sylvie, I guess, kick Loki back into the TVA, we thought it was presumably just going to be the TVA. The TVA is the TVA, and that's what we thought, but we are wrong, I guess. There are, I guess, maybe different versions or variants of the TVA is something I've seen theorized, but I think it's much rather just Kang the Conqueror had conquired the TVA and really taken it over in some essence, in some ways. Either that, or it's a different variant of Kang the Conqueror that maybe had taken it over. Now, a small little thing here I do want to touch on before we go more in depth on what we saw in episode 6 here, rather. This whole scene here with Ravonna the Renslayer and all the Minutemen and stuff being inside of a high school. We do see some posters, of course, on the walls. It says Homecoming and stuff, so that there, of course, I very well did think that was some hints there at Spider-Man Homecoming, or Spider-Man No Way Home, of course. Them kind of going back in time to 2018 almost was something that I kind of saw there, maybe. So I was really thinking that we could have gotten some sort of huge hint at Spider-Man No Way Home, and even at that, many fans are expecting the No Way Home trailer to drop pretty much any day now at the end of Loki season 1 here, and then having the Black Widow movie come out, and then we also got a brand new What If official trailer, actually, rather than the teaser trailer. Of course, we're going to have many update videos here for Spider-Man No Way Home, and we're always going to be on the lookout there for the trailer, so do be sure you are subscribed to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss that when that comes out. Let's talk a little bit here on what went on exactly with the TVA and Loki, really at the end there, of course, with Loki running into the TVA, going to find Mobius, his good friend, and there was a huge, I guess, relationship there between those characters, and it's something I don't really feel like we realized until it was too late. It was one of those things we just didn't realize. It was too good to be true until it was kind of gone. It was too good to be really a thing until it was gone. We didn't realize how good it was until it was gone exactly there, and that's something that was kind of the relationship there between Loki and Mobius. I don't really feel like too many people had talked about that whole relationship between these two characters until it was really too late, all in all, in those essence. So with that, let's talk a little bit about here what went on at the end there with the TVA, Mobius, and Loki. Mobius not even recognizing or knowing who Loki is exactly, and then we go to see Loki look at a statue of once was the Timekeepers, of course, is now Kang the Conquirer. Is what is going on here exactly? Of course, I touched on a little bit here at the beginning of the video. Some are saying that it's a whole alternate universe here with the TVA. It's a different timeline of the TVA. Others are saying, and I do have to agree on this side of things, that there is a Kang the Conquirer variant, of course, that is out there that ran an up and down the timeline there, of course, with time travel, of course, and looking for the TVA and kind of just getting in there and kind of controlling the TVA and creating the TVA, a different version of the TVA, or if that, resetting the TVA almost with that, actually. So, of course, there's a lot of relationships here between WandaVision and the Loki show. Of course, some people in some, I guess, opinions here thought that the Loki show was just a waste of time. It never really went anywhere, kind of connecting to WandaVision, how it just never really went anywhere. But two things I think that these shows do share in common, guys, is the whole fact of introducing new characters. For WandaVision, that would, of course, would be Monica Rambeau and more or less the new White Vision, of course. And then for the Loki show, it would be introducing Kang the Conqueror, who's, I think, is presumably going to be one of the big bad main villains here of Avengers 5, of when we actually do get that movie. Of course, I do think he's going to be playing some other, I guess, versions or different, I guess, bad guy roles throughout different movies like Ant-Man 3, Quantumania, but we very well, I think we could get some sort of sneak peek of him here and there, kind of like Thanos almost, where we got kind of some sneak peeks there of Thanos at different end credit scenes, or just different, I guess, references or whatever it was throughout the Avengers movies, all the way up until Infinity War and then Endgame, of course. And then now kind of speaking on some terms here of what I think we're going to maybe see here for a season 2 of the show. Like I had said, there's many Marvel shows and projects presumably coming up here that are taking place after the events of Loki, being Quantumania, Ant-Man 3, Quantumania, Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness, and Spider-Man 3, No Way Home. So what is season 2 even going to be about? Then there's two ways that they can, of course, go, and there's, I guess, really infinite ways that they can go, of, you know, speaking the essence of Loki with alternate and infinite timelines and versions of Kang the Conqueror, of course. But there's two main ways I really do think that this season 2 here could very well go. Either A, they go back in time and up all the way to the point here of where they kind of leave off here with season 1, or there's a really big time gap here and kind of seeing how they're going to go about fixing and kind of really give some closure here of multiversal lore here, exactly of how they're exactly going to fix it. I mean, it's going to kind of end where it started in I guess, those thoughts. So with that, that's kind of how I think a season 2 could kind of go down, or what we'd exactly see there. It's something I do want to kind of go more in depth there in a whole separate video, of course, here on the channel. So do be sure you are subscribed to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss when that video does come out. And then kind of speaking on the terms of Kang the Conqueror and kind of his almost backstory there, because there's a lot of confusion there. They kind of go by it kind of fast, almost, even with that being a 45 minute episode here, of course, like the other episodes. I too kind of wish we got like a longer episode here, of course. And if you've even seen a little bit of theories and suspicions out there, I highly doubt it, to take it with a high grain of salt. I do not think it's going to happen. It's very unlikely, but some people, you know, just kind of throwing it out there, what if kind of type of thing. What if there was an episode 7 and, you know, the show being about the god of mischief? It would be kind of mischievous of Disney to kind of throw out an episode 7 there without kind of even telling anybody. It's just something I think would be kind of interesting and kind of cool to see, even with that. So just kind of keep that in mind. I really do not think it would happen, though. Anyway, back to the subject here at hand, the kind of whole backstory there with Kang the Conqueror, or Conqueror rather. I know I've been saying it wrong in many of my past videos. It's Conqueror, not Conquirer. Anyway, that's besides the point. It's kind of this whole backstory is very confusing for Kang. Is pretty much there's different variants of himself. Let's go all the way back to like the beginning of time, almost, to kind of give you guys a point to start here. Going back to the beginning of time, there's a multiversal of war, and of course different Kangs of course discover themselves with time travel, of course, because the Kang that does discover time travel does take place in the future, of course, and there's already time travel as we see in Avengers Endgame. So seeing that, time travel could very well become a more used, more thought out thing here in future MCU projects, of course. Anyway, kind of like he does in the shows and comics, kind of what the whole point of the TVA is, as I theorize this, of course, in other videos, and I was really happy that I was kind of right about this whole stuff. here is the whole reason he created the TVA was kind of to avoid different variants of himself and kind of those terms, and to that there of course would be to kind of avoid a whole nother multiversal war, and that is the whole point of the TVA, which is kind of what I was kind of happy about. But speaking back in the terms of the whole backstory here for Kang, is the whole idea of this multiversal war here kind of taking place here. That's the whole reason he created the TVA, was to avoid future multiversal wars. And really the only, I guess, variant, of course there's other variants and different people and those types of things, but those aren't really all that a big deal. And really the whole reason that the TVA was created is to really avoid these other multiversal wars between these different variants of Kang. And essentially, in that saying, the whole reason that Kang was kind of fine with dying, of course, was the whole fact, besides being really old and just being tired, he's really, really old, just doesn't really look his age, much like Loki and Thor, and pretty much any other, I guess, variant of Thor or Loki for those matters. Also, kind of speaking on the terms of Thanos, almost too, but he's just really old and really tired at this point of kind of controlling all time for all time's sake. But like I had said, kind of besides that, there's also the whole point and matter of, yeah, sure, a multiversal war would happen once again if this variant of Kang was kind of killed, and it would kind of just essentially result in a giant circle, and he would just kind of come right back to where he was, being kind of the one at the end of time, the one who remains, pretty much. Essentially, kind of to base it up with that, what they kind of do to kind of put it in some simpler terms there, is pretty much to say that it's reincarnation. So that kind of wraps up that and kind of explains some of that. Now, something I want to talk about real quick here is this scene right here that's on the screen right now, is we do see a King of Asgard, Loki. So that kind of isn't something that we never actually saw throughout the show at all. It just wasn't ever seen in the show. Of course, it was seen in trailers and promo pictures and pics and all that, of course. It just never was actually seen in the actual show. So that kind of leads me to believe maybe season 2 has already been filmed or something like that. Or maybe there's deleted episodes, deleted scenes, of course, too. Not really too sure on what that exactly is supposed to be. Let me know what you guys think about that one in the comment section down below. Other than that, there's just a lot to say here and a lot to talk about here for Loki 6, or episode 6 rather. There's a lot of great things, I think, throughout this entire series. Just kind of wrapping it up with the overall basis of the series, I think it was an amazing series. I mean, who didn't think it was an amazing series? Amazing actors, amazing actresses for that matter, amazing directors, and all of that. And a really pivotal point here with each and every episode. No hate towards other Marvel shows like WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, etc., etc. Falcon and the Winter Soldier didn't really do this all that much, much like WandaVision did, but filler episodes that just didn't ever go anywhere and result anywhere towards the main plot and the really overall end and finale of the overall show there. Each and every episode of Loki here played something into the end of what we were going to see here. This big buildup of seeing Kang finally come into the MCU. Yes, I do think he's going to be the big bad villain here of Avengers 5 when we do get that movie, guys. It was very awesome to see just Loki be a thing. Really awesome to see kind of the first villain kind of show, and really show us that he's really not all that much a villain in those essence, guys. I want to know all of your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below. What did you think about episode 6 for Loki? What did you think about the overall show of Loki? Do you want to see more of Loki? Of course, are you looking forward to Loki season 2 here? Let us know down in the comment section down below. Of course, this is just kind of like an overall basis of an episode breakdown for episode 6 of Loki. There's many more things to talk about and break down and go more depth into. So, of course, we're going to have separate videos on all of that, so stay tuned for all of that by hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss any of those videos. Leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it, as it really does help the channel, and check out our Instagram Unofficial MCU for more Marvel related content, guys. Thank you so much for watching and so much for all the love and support both here on our YouTube and our Instagram. It means the absolute world to me. Thanks so much for watching today's video, and peace out.